They told me the night shift would be easy. Sit in the security room, watch the cameras, and follow 3 rules. Rule 1. Don't look into room 12, no matter what you hear inside. Rule 2. If the phone rings after 3 a.m., do not answer it. And Rule 3. Never walk into the West Wing, not even if you hear someone screaming for help. When the supervisor handed me that paper, I laughed. I thought it was some initiation prank for new hires. An abandoned asylum on the edge of town, barely any power running, no staff, no patients. Just a crumbling building the county couldn't afford to tear down. What could possibly happen? But by my first night, I realized the asylum wasn't abandoned at all. The place reeked of mold and rust, like metal soaked in dampness for decades. My security office was a tiny room with 12 black and white monitors stacked on a desk. The cameras showed different hallways of the asylum, all of them peeling with chipped paint, old wheelchairs rusting in corners, gurneys left in hallways like the doctors just walked out and never returned. At 1 a.m., I heard the first sound. It was faint, like crying. I leaned closer to the monitors. The noise seemed to come from the corridor outside room 12. I remembered the rules. Don't look into room 12. But curiosity is poison. I clicked the monitor feed. Room 12's camera flickered. The door was open a crack. Inside, in the dim glow of the emergency light, I saw a figure standing with its back turned. It was tall, shoulders crooked, its head twitching slightly side to side, like it was listening for something. I leaned in, and then the figure snapped its head toward the camera. The screen went black. Every other monitor was still working fine. But room 12, gone. I could still hear crying, faint but steady, like it was leaking through the wires. I pushed my chair back and told myself not to panic. These were old systems. Cameras glitched all the time, but deep down, something inside me shifted. I started to believe those rules weren't a joke. At 2:45 a.m., the phone rang. The asylum phone, a dusty landline mounted to the wall. I froze. Rule 2 was clear. Do not answer after 3 a.m. But this was before. It rang again, and again, each. Ring sounded heavier than the last, like it wasn't just sound but weight filling the room. I checked the clock. 2:59. It rang again, right as the clock flipped to 3. I yanked my hands off the desk. The ringing continued, sharp and violent. I covered my ears but still heard it, not just through the phone, but vibrating inside my head. Then, without me touching it, the receiver lifted from its cradle. A voice whispered through the static. "Why did you look into room 12? I stumbled backward, knocking my chair over. The phone slammed down by itself, and the room fell silent. My heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. That's when I saw movement on the monitors again. The West Wing camera, the one with the longest hallway. A shape was crawling across the floor. Not walking, not running, crawling on all fours, its arms bending the wrong way, elbows twisting out like broken sticks. It was dragging something behind it, something heavy that left a black trail on the tiles. And then, faintly, I heard it. A voice screaming from the West Wing. "Help me! Please, someone help me!" Rule 3. Never go into the West Wing. I squeezed my eyes shut, whispering to myself, "Don't break another rule." But the screaming grew louder, more desperate, like a man being skinned alive, and then the voice changed. It wasn't screaming anymore. It was laughing. A low, wet chuckle echoing through the hallways, vibrating in the walls, slipping through the vents until it was all around me. I don't remember leaving the office. One second I was standing by the monitors, the next I was halfway down the corridor with my flashlight shaking in my hand. My feet moved on their own, dragging me toward the West Wing. The closer I got, the colder it became. My breath fogged in the beam of the flashlight. The laughter stopped. I turned a corner and froze. The hallway stretched into darkness. At the far end, standing perfectly still, was the figure from room 12. Its body was wrong, like bones arranged in the wrong order. Too tall, arms too long. Its head cocked sideways, and though the light didn't fully reach, I swear it was smiling. And then, in a voice that wasn't its own, it whispered, "You're not supposed to be here." My flashlight flickered. For a split second, the figure wasn't at the end of the hallway anymore. It was inches from my face. I dropped the light and ran. By the time I crashed back into the office, every monitor was dead. Just static, hissing so loud I had to cover my ears. The phone rang again. I screamed at it, "Shut up! Shut up!" But it wouldn't stop. I yanked the cord from the wall. Silence. Then, faintly, through the speakers of the dead monitors, I heard a whisper. Rule 4. There was no Rule 4. The whisper grew louder, overlapping, dozens of voices speaking together. Rule 4, you can never leave. And the static cleared. On every monitor, I saw myself, sitting in the office, breathing hard, looking at the cameras. But in the corner of the room behind me was something else. It was standing right there. That was my first night. I don't remember how I made it out of the asylum at dawn. I don't remember driving home or falling into bed. But the next night, when I woke up, there was a new envelope on my doorstep. Inside was another set of rules. This time, there were 4.